It was a busy, bustling afternoon at Dakar International Airport. People rushing, laughing, arguing, or simply exhausted from long journeys. Flight AF 1427 to Ouagadougou, the hard Burkina Faso, was ready to board. In the premier class lounge, a handful of passengers sipped champagne and scrolled through their phones. Among them sat a quiet man, President Ibrahim Traoré, dressed in a simple black jalabia, his shoes spotless but unflashy, his bag small, his face serene and unreadable. He said nothing, but watched everything. He held a first-class ticket. Soft gas from nearby passengers. A few glanced once, then twice. A black man, alone, dressed simply. No laptop bag, no designer watch. Yet holding a first-class ticket? SFX, gate chime. Gate agent, cheerful. Premier class passengers, please proceed to gate 7. President Traoré stood calmly and joined the line. At the gate, Claire Dubois, a tall, blonde attendant with bright red lipstick and sharp bun, smiled warmly at the passenger ahead. Claire, charming, welcome aboard, sir. Then she looked at President Traoré. Her smile vanished. Claire, cold, clipped, excuse me, sir, you must be lost. This lane is for premier class. President Traoré quietly, handing over his ticket. I'm in the right place. Claire stared at the ticket. Seat 2A. Her face tightened. Claire, hissing this must be a mistake. Sir, this flight is not for people of your color. You can't sit here. A collective gasp from nearby passengers. Phones rise. President Traoré, softly, excuse me? Claire, louder, scoffing, you must have booked economy by mistake. Let's refund you. Now step aside. SFX, phones recording. Murmurs. President Traoré remained still, eyes steady. Claire, mocking, you can't even pronounce the airline's name and you want first class? SFX. Junior attendant approaches, beep a scanner. Junior attendant, nervous. It's valid. Claire. He's cleared for 2A. Claire, angrily, doesn't matter. Look at him. He doesn't belong here. SFX. Turbulence warning chime. Captain. Over intercom, ladies and gentlemen, we're passing through light turbulence. Please remain seated. Inside the cabin, Claire's hostility grew. She skipped President Traoré for drinks, dropped his water without a napkin, and smirked. Claire, whispering, better buckle up tight. We don't want you flying out of your seat. Francois Delacroix, a French CEO, leaned forward. Francois, firmly, why are you treating him like this? He's done nothing wrong. Claire, snapping, sir, mind your business. Francois, steadfast, this is my business. I pay for dignity, not discrimination. SFX, plane lands, cheers and claps. As passengers prepared to disembark, Claire leaned in one last time. Claire, venomous whisper, you smell like someone who hasn't bathed in weeks. First class doesn't make you clean. SFX, sharp intake of breath from nearby passengers. The woman in 2B, an elderly French woman, stood up. Madame Beaumont, stern, that is enough. You've shamed us all. SFX, phone zoom in. Gasped. Just then, the junior attendant rushed over with his phone. Junior attendant, urgent, Claire, you need to see this. SFX. Phone screen reveals a photo. President Traoré in military uniform, saluted by soldiers, flags waving behind him. Caption, President Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso. Claire's face drained of color. Claire, trembling, sir, I didn't know. I didn't mean to. President Traoré, gently, would it have made a difference if you had? SFX, silence. The cabin holds its breath. President Traoré, softly, warmly, respect is not a gift for the powerful. It is a duty to every human being. SFX, soldiers salute outside. Red carpet unfurls. Francois, humbly, Mr. President, please forgive us. President Traoré, smiling sometimes, we must walk low to see how deep people's hearts truly are. SFX, car door opens. He steps out, greeted by salutes. Inside the plane, Claire crumpled into a seat, sobbing. Junior attendant, softly, you didn't just insult a president. You insulted every person who looks like him. SFX. Later, news reports, viral videos, global outrage. Narrator warm, reflective. That day, the world paused. A quiet man taught us that dignity is not worn. It is carried in the heart. SFX. Applause at a university speech. President Traoré. Inspiring. If your power makes others feel small, it is not power, it is weakness. SFX. Quote appears on screen. If your power makes others feel small, it is not power, it is weakness. Narrator. Smiling. Years later, this story still echoes, not just in speeches, but in how we treat the stranger beside us. SFX. Gentle music fades. Narrator. Cheerful. Dear viewers, if this moved you, subscribe, like, and share with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, every seat is a chance to show kindness. Soft chimes fade into the rustle of a gentle Dakar evening breeze. A single spotlight lingers on the red carpet as President Ibrahim Traoré's car glides away. Narrator, hushed, reverent. The black sedan disappeared into the golden dusk, but the lesson lingered, like incense in still air. Soft lamplight. A modest desk. President Traoré opens a handwritten envelope. President Traoré warm, audible smile. Dear Mr. President, I am ashamed, not because you are a head of state, but because you are a human being and I fail to treat you as one. Narrator, softly. Claire's apology. No publicist, no camera crew. Just ink, tears, and the courage to say, I was wrong. President Traoré, to his assistant, gentle. File this with the children's drawings. The simplest words often carry the heaviest truth. Sound of clattering dishes, quiet chatter, a baby's laugh. Claire, hair tied back, hands raw from scrubbing pots, ladles soup into a bowl for an elderly Gambian man. Claire, quiet, earnest. More pepper, Uncle Musa? Uncle Musa, chuckling. Just a pinch, ma fille. Your Wolof is getting better. Narrator, warm. Every ladle of soup, every folded blanket, every whispered Dax jam. Are you at peace? Was her unspoken penance. Cheerful West African drums under soft strings. Radio host excited. Good morning, Ouagadougou. Today the Dignity Project launches in 500 schools, 50 airports, and every public bus terminal nationwide. Cut to classrooms where children practice greeting strangers in 12 local languages. Airport staff role-playing how to handle. I'm sorry, I left my crown and my carry-on. Posters reading. Courtesy costs nothing, but buys everything. Modern glass office. Francois addresses executives. Francois, passionate. From this quarter forward, our airline will measure success not only in profit, but in passenger dignity reports. Any employee who scores below 95% on empathy training will repeat the course, on full pay, but with a broom in hand, cleaning our lounges first. Soft murmur of agreement. A few surprised smiles. Same lounge, repainted in warm terracotta. A bronze plaque near gate 7 reads, Seat 2A reminder. Little Aminata, now 9, bright eyes. Mama, why does the plane have a special seat? Mother, kneeling gentle. It's where a quiet man taught us that every seat is special when the heart inside it is kind. Sun-drenched courtyard, laughter children. Claire, handing Aminata a new teddy. Your Highness, may I present Sir Fluffy the Brave? Aminata, giggling. He's almost as kind as you, Miss Claire. Narrator, soft, smiling. And somewhere in that giggle, the past cracked open, letting light pour through. Crowd roaring. President Traoré steps to the podium in simple linen. President Traoré, warm, powerful. I stand before you not as a president, but as a man who once sat quietly in seat 2A. The applause you give me today, give it tomorrow to the street sweeper, the bus driver, the stranger who forgot how to smile. He lifts a small, folded cloth, the Burkina Faso flag, then places it over his heart. President Traoré, softly. Dignity is a circle. The respect you give returns as the legacy you leave. Epilogue, Claire's new wings. Shot of Claire in a new uniform, navy with a gold dignity ambassador. Pin. She greets passengers at gate 7. Claire, warm, genuine. Good afternoon. Welcome to Dakar. May I see your boarding pass, monsieur? 2A, a seat with history. Allow me to escort you personally. Passenger, surprised, then smiling. Thank you. This feels like the beginning of a good flight. Claire, quietly to herself. And the beginning of a good life. May every journey, whether 30,000 feet above the earth or simply across a crowded room, carry the quiet thunder of Seat 2A. Respect first, speak second, and never, ever judge a soul by the cloth on their back or the color of their skin. Soft chorus strings swell, then fade. Title card, 5 years later. The Quiet Man's Journal. Soft evening rain against louvered windows. President Ibrahim Traoré, now silvering at the temples, closes a thick journal. President Traoré, thoughtful, to the camera. They ask if I ever flew first class again. I tell them, yes, once a year, always Seat 2A, always anonymously. Not to test anyone, but to remember how it felt to be unknown, and therefore seen. He lifts the journal. Its cover reads Letters from Seat 2A, hundreds of passenger notes tucked between pages. Cheerful West African guitar. A mobile museum truck painted like a vibrant baobab tree. Parks in a dusty village square. Curator, excited, to children. Step inside, mes petit. Inside Seat 2A, yes, the real one. Removed from the old plane and restored as a bench of honor. Children, gasping. It's softer than I imagined. Curator, smiling. And heavier, because it carries every story you'll add today. Each child writes one word on a color tag. Welcome, merci, Ubuntu, and ties it to seatbelt. Sound of chalk on slate. Claire, now a certified empathy trainer, draws a simple diagram. A circle labeled human, arrows pointing in and out. Claire, gentle, to airline cadets. Racism, classism, ageism, they're all turbulence. Your job is not just to serve drinks. It is to steady wings with words. Cadet, raising hand. What if we mess up? Claire, smiling. Then you circle back. Apologize, learn, and lift again. Turbulence is inevitable. Crashing is optional. She points to a framed photo on the wall. Claire kneeling beside little Aminata, now taller, both wearing matching Dignity Ambassador pins. Cozy Parisian cafe. Francois, gray at the temples, opens a courier envelope. Inside, a single boarding pass AF 1427, Seat 2A, Ouagadougou, Dakar, and a handwritten note. Note, Claire's voice warm. Come see what your courage helped build. Wear jeans. Leave the watch. Francois laughs, eyes shining. Cabin lights dim to a soft amber. A different crew, diverse, smiling, greets passengers. Flight attendant beaming. Welcome aboard the Dignity Express, ladies and gentlemen. Our captain today is Captain Mariama Diallo. Our first officer is Captain Kwame Asani. And your purser is Aminata. So yes, the little girl with the teddy bear, all grown up. Francois slips into 2A, jeans and sneakers. Across the aisle, President Traoré, in simple baboo, nods with quiet smile. Francois, softly, is the seat taken? President Traoré, warm chuckle. Only by history and hope, soft orchestral chora. The seatbelt sign dings off. Aminata, over intercom, clear and proud. Ladies and gentlemen, before we serve lunch, we invite you to turn to page 24 of your in-flight magazine. There you'll find a blank postcard. Write a promise. One way you'll choose respect this week. We'll mail it back to you in 1 year as a gentle reminder. SFX. Pages rustling, pen scratching. Francois writing. I will listen before I label. President Traoré writing. I will remain a student of every soul. Gentle touchdown. As passengers stand, Aminata hands each a small fabric tag stitched with a baobab leaf. Aminata warm. Plant the seed in your heart. Let it grow shade for strangers. Claire waits at the gate, not in uniform, but in a flowing indigo dress. She hugs Francois, then turns to President Traoré. Claire, voice trembling with joy. Welcome home to our home. President Traoré, softly. The circle is complete when the teacher becomes the student. Thank you for teaching me forgiveness is not the end. It is the runway. Closing montage. Ripples. A Tokyo boarding gate displays a quote in kanji, "True power lifts, never lowers." A Chicago classroom recreates seat 2A out of cardboard for empathy roleplay. A Kenyan pilot trainee pins a baobab tag. Insider cap, Aminata, now captain, salutes a young passenger in seat 2A, a shy Syrian refugee wearing his first blazer. The camera slowly zooms out from seat 2A, now permanently installed in the National Museum of Human Dignity, Ouagadougou. Sunlight streams through the window, illuminating thousands of colored tags fluttering like prayer flags.